Do you like ramen? I like ramen. This video, it's all about ramen. It's a video review of the Sapporo Ichiban Momosan instant ramen. By the way, I'm Chris, this is Yellow Productions. I do travel guides that are fun, informative, and entertaining. And in this video, I'm gonna be reviewing this ramen right here. It comes in two different flavors. This is the Tonkotsu flavor, which is a pork flavor. And this one right here, it's the Tokyo Chicken flavor. So why am I reviewing this ramen? Well, this ramen, it's by Chef Morimoto, also known as Iron Chef, probably the most famous Japanese chef in the USA. He first became famous in the Iron Chef show in Japan, but also in Iron Chef America. He owns a whole bunch of restaurants. He was the executive chef of Nobu. He opened a chain of ramen restaurants called Momosan, and now he's bringing his instant ramen to the US. Instant. So in this video, I'm gonna be showing you how to cook it, and I'll eat it and tell you what I think. But I am pretty excited because Morimoto, pretty famous chef. So let's start with the Tonkotsu ramen. Let's see what's in the package. Let's open this up and opening up the package right here. Oh, by the way, I want to point out the back of the package has cooking directions, and the first thing it says is do not microwave. This is not to be microwaved. You have to cook it on the stove top, so that's why we're here in front of the stove top. So opening this up, there's this thing of noodles right here that I'm going to put in there in just a second, but I want to show you all the stuff that's in here first. And then we've got a soup packet and a liquid seasoning packet. So that's what's in the package. So the directions say, in a small pot, boil 450 milliliters of hot water. So if you're metrically challenged, that is about 2 cups, if you have a measuring cup, already boiling in there. And while that is already hot, we take this and we just drop it in there. There we go, and it's exactly 3 minutes is what they say. So we're gonna come back at 7:06 and 45 seconds to be precise. All right, so the instructions then say, meanwhile, empty the soup packet and the liquid seasoning packet in a separate bowl. So we have just that right here. We have a separate bowl. So let's go ahead and open up this liquid seasoning packet. And what is it? Woo, it's got some liquid that squirts out there. That's the liquid seasoning. So be careful if you get it and you open it up so it doesn't jump out at you. Put that right there. And then we've got the soup packet right here. This one, it's funny. You would think the soup would actually be liquid, but the soup totally dry. That's the seasonings for the soup. Some other things that I've got on the side here that we'll take a look at. I've got some pork belly right here. This is actually from Trader Joe's pork belly that we've fried up already. I've got some eggs that are already cooked and some cilantro right here. We're gonna add those in. They don't come with the ramen, but if you kind of take a look at the serving instructions, that's what they show in there. Oh, by the way, some seaweed. We're gonna put that on when it's done. So I'll rejoin you guys when this is done in 3 minutes. All right, 3 minutes has passed. Here we go. So this is the noodles. They're still boiling. But the first thing the instructions say to do is they say to pour just the water into this bowl that we've put the liquid soup base and the soup in, or the liquid seasoning and the soup. So we're going to pour that 450 milliliters of water in there. We're going to keep the noodles in here. We're going to stir this up just a little bit. We see that soup base kind of coming together, and looks like some nice seasonings and garlic in there. All right, so now once we've got that stirred up, then we're going to go ahead and put these noodles in there. Oodles of noodles. All right, and then we've got those other garnishes that we're going to put on here. We've got some pork we're going to put in here. Look at this pork. It doesn't come pan-fried. We pan-fried this up. So we'll put that pork in there. And then we've got some soft-boiled eggs. This is soft-boiled and peeled, so we're going to put that in there. And then we've got some nice cilantro to give it some greens. One last thing to put on that you'll see on the packaging and the instructions, it's some seaweed. We bought this at a Korean supermarket. We'll put that little piece of seaweed right there, and voila! All right, here we are in the dining room. Picture perfect ramen right there. Let's dive in And check this out. I'm going to break up the noodles a little bit because they're still sort of in that large membrane-ish kind of thing. And let's see how this tastes. Oh, I should point out, one of the things that I found really intriguing about these ramens is they're not made in the US. They're actually made in Japan. And it says that on the package right in the back. They're distributed by this company that's here in Garden Grove, California, but made in Japan. So. Yeah, noodles are pretty good, I will say. What makes the noodles good? Well, they don't taste like instant noodles, frankly. They taste like noodles that you might actually get in a bowl of ramen. And the soup broth here, by the way, I'm doing this Japanese style without a spoon, so it's a good broth. It's a flavorful broth. It's not too salty. I mean, it is saltier if you're just used to like chicken noodle soup, but if you're used to ramens, it's a good broth that does not taste like cup of noodle. It tastes very, almost like home cooked. It really, this is probably one of the closest things I've had to a bowl of ramen from a package here in the US. I mean, there are fancier ones that you can get in Japan that have more liquids and this and that, but as far as a ramen that you can get in the US, it's pretty good, I must say. Here, let's dive into our egg. And typically, if you do an egg in your ramen, you do it soft-boiled like this, so it gets kind of runny, and you get the yolk that's runny, and then you can kind of maybe dip some of your pork into it, or get some noodles. Pork. It's pretty good, too. By the way, I mentioned it's this Trader Joe's pork belly. By the way, this whole video is not sponsored. It's just something that I like and is pretty cool and want to share with you guys. Next up, the Momosan chicken ramen. So the picture shows to put chicken in it. I didn't have any chicken, so in this one I've actually added corn for the garnish. And I'm going to start with the spoon because I feel like the noodles are probably pretty similar. So I want to taste the broth to start. By the way, this is the Winnie the Pooh spoon from Disney. If you watch a lot of my other videos, you'll know I have a whole series on Disneyland. Definitely not as heavy as the tonkotsu broth. It's a lighter broth, being chicken-based. So you could sort of say it's the Japanese equivalent of chicken noodle soup. Let's try some noodles to go with that broth. By the way, slurping, you know, they say in Japan slurping is a compliment, so that's why I'm slurping my noodles. I think the reason why you slurp the noodles, though, is because they're really hot. You know, when I ate the other one, I was doing my intro video for a little bit longer, so it had a little chance to cool down. This is mighty warm. Pretty good. Question is, which one's better, huh? Me, I think I like the tonkotsu one better. I think they're both good, but I like the hearty kind of meaty flavor of the tonkotsu. But I think this one's pretty good if you're looking for something light and maybe a little bit fit. Okay, so where do you get this stuff if you're interested? Well, you can get it probably at your local Asian supermarket. If you're here in Southern California, it is sold at Mitsuwa, which is a Japanese supermarket. Also, you can buy it online at 365cooking.com. I'll put a link in the description below. They sell a package of 5 for 14 bucks, and if you buy more than 20 bucks, then they ship it for free. That's a lot cheaper than getting a bowl of ramen at your local ramen joint for like, what, 10 bucks? And Chef Morimoto, if you're watching this, I want to let you know you're my favorite Iron Chef, especially when you beat Bobby Flay. And if you ever want to be interviewed on YouTube, let me know. So a question you may be asking yourself is, how does this Momosan packaged ramen compare to the Momosan restaurant? I don't know, I can't tell you. I've never eaten at the Momosan restaurant, but I will tell you this is a pretty good ramen. And so in conclusion, how is it? What's the rating? Well, I will say the Iron Chef Momosan Morimoto wins again. A very successful bowl of ramen, I must say. Well, hey, if you like this video, you might enjoy watching some of my other videos about Japan. You can click here or here to watch them. Find links in the description below. I won't say goodbye because I'll see you in one of these videos.